Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Wreaths and Things. I was recently shopping at my local Dollar Tree. As always, I'm always there. I do love it, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm always there looking for new items. And I came across what they call a wooden wreath base. Here it is right here, and I don't know if you can see there. Wooden wreath base. And it's just really a wood circle. It's pretty thin, but I want to experiment with it today, so I thought I'm going to bring you along and let's see what we can do with this new, or maybe not so new. It's new here in Canada, or at least in my stores. I've never seen it before. It might not be so new in the States. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you seen them before? Is it new? I don't know. I know it's new to me. But anyways, I'm babbling. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. Here is the star of our show today, the wooden wreath base, and I'm going to be using this sign. It's got a watermelon theme. It says Summer Sweet Summer, and it's just a wooden sign from the Dollar Tree that I picked up, and I found these wooden colorful clothespins from the Dollarama. I was so excited to find them. I picked up a couple of packs of those for our project. Now, if you don't have these colored wooden clothespins, you can always buy the natural clothespins at the Dollar Tree. They come in this little pack here. You can use your favorite acrylic paint colors, paint those clothespins and use those as well. These are the supplies I'm going to be using for today's project. To start off, all I'm going to do is add those clothespins right onto that wooden base wreath. And what I'm doing is I'm just opening up the clothespin, feeding them through where that hole is, and attaching them all the way around that wooden base wreath. I'm following the same pattern that they came in. It's kind of yellow, green, blue, violet, pinks, etc. And I'm just going to add all of those onto that wooden frame. And I'm going to stop about halfway through once I add those on there. And if I lift it up, you can kind of see there's a little crevice there where I'm going to slide my sign into it. So I'm going to grab that wood sign from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to slide that right into that little crevice, and that's going to hold that right in place. Once that's in place, I'm just going to continue on attaching those clothespins in that same pattern all the way around that wooden frame. Now, I used a total of 81 clothespins to complete that circle. So I guess it depends on the size of clothespins you use, but these ones and a regular size, I used 81 in total. And you can see here our beautiful, colorful Summer Sweet Summer wreath using those colorful clothespins. And once I'm done that, I'm just going to take a cable tie, attach it right at the top of my wreath, and that's how I'm going to hang this little guy up on my door. Of course it's white, but I think I might paint it later on. I didn't paint it for this video. Also, if you want to just add a little hot glue right in those crevices just to keep everything nice and secured. And once that's all dry, we have our beautiful, colorful clothespin wreath all ready for that summer, sweet summer to come. And of course, what screams summer more than watermelon? I just loved these colorful clothespins, a really easy wreath to do. And again, the star of the show, we're using that wooden wreath frame. I'm also going to be using this beige color floral stem along with some twine that I had laying around. And I'm going to be using satin ribbon today. I show you black, but I do end up using a beige color you'll see later on, and some black acrylic paint and a paintbrush along with my regular crafting utensils to create this project. To start off, all I'm going to do is shake up my acrylic paint a little bit, and I'm just going to paint the top and both sides of that wooden frame. Once that's all done, I'm just going to let that dry completely. And once it's all dry, we are ready to add that twine onto that nice black wreath that we just painted. And I'm just going to flip it over to the other side, add a little hot glue to start it off, take the end of my twine and just place it in the hot glue, and then we're going to start wrapping that around. The pattern that I'm going to be using for the twine is not just wrapping it around, but what I'm going to do is wrap it around once, and then I'm just going to add a little hot glue on the other side, feed that twine through the hot glue, and then wrap it around one more time. And I'm going to continue that pattern over and over. So what I do is I just wrap it around the frame. Then once I wrap it around once, I'm going to bring it to the other side. So we're wrapping it around and then bringing it to the other side. And then every so often, I'll add a little bit of hot glue to make sure everything's nice in place. I started off with the hot glue so it doesn't move at the beginning. And I'm also going to add a little bit of hot glue every now and then you'll see me adding it towards the end. So I continue that pattern, and then once I'm happy with it, I'm just going to cut off the excess, wrap it around until we're all done. Once that's all wrapped around, I'm going to add that hot glue right at the end to secure everything in place. Once that's just pressed into the hot glue, hold it there for a bit, and then once it's all dry, I'm just going to grab my scissors, chop off the excess, and we have our wrapped twine all nice and ready to go. Here's a little bit of a close-up on my pattern, wrapping it around. You can kind of see it's a little spaced out, which I love. And then I'm going to bring my floral stem in, just chop off one of the stems. I'm only going to use one stem, and I'm also going to take one of the leaves off as well. Kind of position it and then trim it down a little bit such that the stem doesn't overlap the wreath frame at the bottom. Once that's all done, I'm going to just feed that stem through, kind of going in and out, weaving it through. Then halfway through, I'm going to add another leaf there, and then I'm going to finish feeding it and weaving it through that pattern, kind of fixing up the leaves so they're all facing forward along with that flower. And then there we have our beautiful floral all attached into that twine. Now, I showed you the black ribbon right at the beginning, and I wanted to show you sometimes things don't work out here on my channel as well. I made this bow and it just didn't work out for me. I mean, it wasn't working, it wasn't gluing, then glue got everywhere. I just wasn't happy with it. And this is all of the black ribbon that I had in my stash. So I had no more black ribbon. So I just kind of, I don't want to say gave up, but I just kind of decided to go on a different venture. So I'm taking beige ribbon, I'm just cutting a piece off, and I'm going to create a tiny bow. And I'm just going to use my fingers for this, so it's the 2-piece fingers and my thumb. I'm going to lay that ribbon right across, and I'm going to wrap it around my 2-piece fingers, and then I'm going to bring it back and hold it with my thumb, as you can see right there. And you'll notice that there's a little space right at the bottom. I'm going to feed that ribbon right through, but I'm not going to pull it all the way. So you want to still have a little loop there. Then we're going to take that piece over and under the ribbon. So we're going over and then into that loop, and that's going to create your knot right in the center. Once I get that through, I'm going to pull it tight, and we've just created a really simple, easy, tiny little bow with a couple of little tails as well. I'm just going to chop those tails, cut them nice on an angle, just to kind of give it a little finishing touch. You can do a dovetail if you want. I just decided to cut on an angle. Once that's all done, I'm going to just place a little hot glue down onto my stem, and then we're going to glue that beautiful tiny bow right at the bottom. Another really nice and easy wreath to do with no deco mesh, no cutting, just a simple wreath that is beautiful, elegant, and again, look at our little wreath here with that twine and that floral, and of course that little bow, just kind of bringing everything together. All in all, I think I prefer the beige ribbon bow instead of the black bow, so it was a good little mistake to happen in the end. There's a little close-up of our twine as well, and that beautiful floral, making this a beautiful wreath. Our final wreath, DIY number 3, we have that beautiful wooden base along with some floral stems, which are roses. I'm going to be using metallic paint as well. This is just a spray paint. If you don't have that spray paint, you can find gold metallic paint, and my suggestion would be to paint the base first with either a black or a brown, and then come in and paint the gold once it's all dry, and that'll really make the gold pop. And of course, we're using regular crafting utensils to finish up this project today. Really simple. I'm just going to take that wreath base, spray paint it gold outside in my garage where it's nice and ventilated, and we've got that beautiful gold metallic shimmer going on here, and I just love it. Once that's all done, I'm going to cut up my little floral stems and the leaves as well. And then what I always like to do is I like to do a little dry run, what I call a dry run, where I'm not gluing anything down, but I'm placing everything. Once I'm happy with the placement, then I come in and I add that hot glue down on there, gluing those rose florals on right at the bottom. And one by one, I'm just going to glue those on there. Once they're all glued and secured, I'm going to add some of those leaves and the greenery on there, making sure everything's nice and secure with that hot glue. Then add those little rosebuds on there as well, using my hot glue gun. Once I'm finished all that, our beautiful gold rose wreath is all finished. Look at that shimmer on that gold spray, and these roses I am in love with. Look at the colors. They just look so expensive, and I just got them at the dollar store as well. A beautiful gold wreath ready for your front door. And our DIY number one, our Summer Sweet Summer colorful clothespin wreath using those colorful clothespins, and our black and neutral colored wreath using twine and just a simple carnation on there with the black background, and of course going back to our DIY number three, that gold and rose beautiful, gorgeous, elegant wreath, rounding out our three Dollar Tree wooden base wreaths. Thank you so much for joining me today while I created these 3 wreaths for you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new project. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.